How's it going, everybody? Tonight we are here on the network, and my name is Nathan Lewitt, and I am joined by Trevor Lewitt, Easton John, and Caden Walker. We are a starting up sports podcast going over any of the sports that are happening right now. So currently we are going to be going over college football, NFL, which started tonight, and pro baseball. Each of us have our own specialties of what sports we like to cover. And so, Easton, what are you going to be covering?
Yeah, so I'm going to be covering NFL, college football, college basketball, whenever that comes around, and then MLB baseball, of course, since that's the postseason's coming up, so it's going to be exciting to cover.
All right. How about you, Caden?
Yeah, my expertise is definitely more the NFL and NBA. As the season progresses, I will try to get more experience with college football, but for now, I feel most comfortable talking about the NFL.
Gotcha. How about you, Trevor?
For me, it's going to be the NFL, the NBA, and then college basketball and college football.
Gotcha. I don't really have much of a specialties. I'm just going to be trying to be the ringleader here to make sure the show keeps going.
Yeah.
So, but with the NFL, right now we have the Dallas Cowboys and Tampa Bay Buccaneers game going on right now. With the NFL season started up tonight, what teams do you think are going to underperform and overperform for the season?
I definitely think as far as a team that's going to overperform their expectations, I like the Denver Broncos. I think Teddy Bridgewater is a guy that can at least manage a game for you with that elite defense with Bradley Chubb and Von Miller at the edge, supporting that elite secondary. I think they have the best secondary in the league. You look at the guys, they have Justin Simmons, who might just be the best safety right now. Kareem Jackson was ranked super high, I think top 5 in PFF this past year. And then their corners, it's the most stacked corner room. They got Kyle Fuller, Ronald Darby, top 10 pick, Pat Surtain out of Alabama. And then they also have Bryce Callahan in the slot.
Mm-hmm.
It's just they have the depth, they have the stars, and then they have this rookie.
They got to worry about the Chiefs, though. They still got
Absolutely
the Chiefs.
they do. I think they're going to be a wild card team, but I think they're one of those teams that I'm going to look to upset somebody in the wild card. I think this actually really ties in well with my team that I think is going to underperform because I see the Titans. I see Derrick Henry. Mm-hmm. I see Ryan Tannehill. I see the addition of Julio Jones. A.J. Brown is an emerging star, might even work his way as a top 5 receiver within these next couple of years. What I don't like is their defense. I think they might have overpaid. I think they might have overpaid for Bud Dupree. And I think there's some talent there on that D-line. Mm-hmm. But what I am so worried about is Derrick Henry. No matter how dominant he's been in the regular season, he puts these miles on his body and all of these carries. And by the time of the playoffs, he can get shut down. I think against, was it the Ravens, shut him down to 40 yards?
And it's just a matter of time about when Derrick Henry's just going to, fall apart.
Absolutely.
I have him on my fantasy team, and, I hope he doesn't. I hope he doesn't go down, but it's probably going to happen sometime.
I mean, he's huge. He is put on these amazing. He might just be a top 10 running back in the league. Of all time.
Yeah.
But he put up 4,500 yards and 40 touchdowns in one season in high school.
Yeah.
That's miles on a guy who I just don't think a guy of that size can sustain that type of production over the length that he's had. I think it's a miracle that he's done it as long as he has. But I don't know how much further that can last, and especially going into the playoffs.
I got a question, though. Do you think them getting Julio Jones might give a break for Derrick Henry, though?
I think absolutely it will. And I think that's going to be the most dynamic offense in the regular season, potentially.
Like their defense is what's going to hurt them the most?
I think the defense will hurt them. I don't like that secondary. I'm pretty sure they cut Adoree Jackson.
Yeah.
Rookie cornerback. Oh, no. So they drafted him a couple years in the first round, a couple years ago now. And I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll sustain this, and especially you meet these tough teams in the playoffs when it's cold, like the Broncos, who's gonna hit your quarterback hard, put pressure on him, make you throw some errant throws in that elite secondary, that ball hawking secondary.
Teddy Bridgewater basically stole that starting job from Drew Lock.
Absolutely. I'm not a fan of either of them, but I think
the only thing I have to say about Teddy Bridgewater is that just here in the recent past years, his health has been questionable at the beginning of the
But then they'll
season.
have a good backup quarterback.
Drew Lock has shown he has good potential.
I think Drew Lock should be starting.
Yeah.
I'm from Missouri, Kansas City area. He went to one of the high schools that's 40 minutes away. But I think he should have been the starter, but I'm happy that Teddy Bridgewater is getting a starting spot.
I think the only reason Teddy Bridgewater got the starting position, though, is because I think he can manage that team better than Drew Lock can.
True, he's got a little veteran. Mm-hmm.
I think you're lowering your ceiling, though, with Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah.
So, Teddy Bridgewater is a guy, I think his career high in touchdowns, passing touchdowns, is 15. That's low. That's running back numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And my issue is you have this great receiving core, these great weapons on offense. You have Jerry Jeudy, you have Cortland Sutton, you have Tim Patrick.
Mm-hmm.
What I do like about this team is Jerry Jeudy, his route running. I think that is one of the best guys. That Teddy Bridgewater will be able to hit him wide open, and he'll be able to rack up the yards after catch. But I think your ceiling's a little lower, but I don't think it's going to matter with this defense. I think when they get in the playoffs, which I expect them to do as a wild card team, I believe they will take out a team as an underdog and advance to the divisional round.
Okay. So moving on. Easton.
Yeah.
Who are your teams?
For my overperforming team, I gotta go with the Chiefs, man.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. I mean,
no bueno.
I mean, come on.
Y'all will catch on really fast that Easton only believes and thinks about the Chiefs.
Yeah, I mean, diehard Chiefs fan over here, being from Kansas City. But Pat Mahomes finally has an offensive line. We don't have to worry about Fisher. We don't have to worry about Schwartz. I mean, they were such a big wild card in the offensive line that I was like, when is it? I mean, when are they? Is it going to be a? Are they going to let up 500 sacks today? Or are they going to?
That is extremely disrespectful.
I
mean, to Mitchell Schwartz. Mitchell Schwartz is not just a Pro Bowler; he's an All-Pro, potentially the best right tackle last year.
But I mean,
okay, you're going to hate me, but I believe the Chiefs are going to be a team to underperform this year.
You think so?
I could see
Where
that.
do you overperform? Are your expectations not Super Bowl or bust with Patrick Mahomes making $50 million?
They're going to overperform from last year.
Yeah, I could see them losing in the divisional round.
If they don't
if
they don't make it to at least the finals of their division, it's an underperformance for them.
Yeah.
No, if they don't make the Super Bowl, it's underperforming.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And I mean, they made the Super Bowl last year and they lost. Mm-hmm. So the only way that they can overperform in your eyes is if they win a Super Bowl, and that is just incredibly high expectations for they're gonna have to face potentially the Bucs, the Rams, or the Packers in the Super Bowl, and then I think it's a tough road in the AFC this year. With the Buccaneers, I'm sorry, not the Buccaneers, but the Browns.
Yeah,
and then
the Browns do look good this year. But okay, so also, I mean, Patrick Mahomes having an offensive line now is so big. You saw it in the preseason game against Arizona, I believe. He had so much time in the pocket, and he had time to breathe. And I'm so glad that they got him. They got like new offensive linemen, got rid of Fisher and Schwartz because they give me a headache every game. But then also Chris Jones, he slimmed down. I think he cut meat, some meats out of his diets too. So he said it was quicker, and he's lost weight. So, and he looked good in the preseason too. So, that's who my overperforming team is, and then the underperforming. I think it's gonna be the Steelers. I know what happened today. The Ravens defense is just falling apart, but I still think the Steelers are gonna underperform, just because. Bringing in Najee Harris, I think it's a big move, but I don't know I think people in that division, the teams in that division, are going to give him a hard time, especially the Browns defense with Myles Garrett. Sure. And then, I mean, the Ravens defense is, but I mean, they still got a good front. The Ravens got a front. It's just their corners are getting hurt and the running backs are snapping ACLs.
Yeah, what I'll say about that is I'll definitely agree that coming into the preseason, I definitely had the Steelers being that third team in the division, just missing the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And I just don't know how confident I feel about that now with the top two running backs being gone, and then Marcus Peters, their
plus Juju Smith-Schuster. I don't see him as a good wide receiver. I don't think he's that. I don't think he's not high tier. He's reaching for mid tier. That's what I think.
Okay, who do you think is better? Do you think Prime AB at the Steelers?
Prime AB.
Oh, that's not even a question.
Prime AB was so good. I remember when the Chiefs would play them in the playoffs, and it was so frustrating because Big Ben would just keep on throwing it to Antonio Brown, and I was like, we couldn't do anything about it. But
it's not even a question of who's better, Antonio Brown or Juju.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if Juju is he might be wide receiver 3 on that team with Deontay Johnson.
Deontay Johnson though cannot catch the ball.
I think that's an easy thing to fix. He's a burner.
Yeah,
I think he can fix that issue.
He cannot catch the ball. He struggled. I think he had like 9 drops last season. He had high drops last season. I remember. Steelers fans are probably gonna hate me, but I am sorry. But I think if they're just looking to sneak by in the wild card.
Well, there's Chase Claypool in that room too.
Claypool,
Chase Claypool.
He's pretty
really
good.
like him.
I just don't think that's their issue. I don't think wide receivers are their issue. I think all-line is their issue and quarterbacks are their issue.
Oh yeah, okay. So this is what I wanted to say. Big Ben is a walking piece of glass. He's probably gonna. I mean,
he's not gonna play every game.
There's no way he
I
plays
get
every
on
game.
board with
Who's their Rudolph? Is Rudolph their official backup?
It's looking like Dwayne Haskins could be the
Dwayne
guy.
Haskins is their backup, but Big Ben, I like him, but like he's a good quarterback.
He's definitely a
but and a good guy, but like he's
I don't know about that.
he's just getting old.
Oh,
He's a good guy. I mean,
I don't know about that.
he's not.
I think, I'm not so worried about the health. He has a big frame. But what I am worried about, something that we saw with Drew Brees in this past year, is that I don't know if his arm can last an NFL season. And that's his throwing power. I think he can remain healthy. But you put that many throws on your arm, it starts to weaken for these older guys.
Is he like he's 40?
He's not old. I think he might be 39.
39. He's okay.
38, 39.
Yeah.
He's outlasted Phillip Rivers and Eli Manning of the same draft class.
Mm-hmm.
But we saw Drew Brees last year, one of the all-time greats, top 5 quarterback potentially. And when he got in the playoffs last year, he had a noodle.
Yeah, he did.
And I think the same. I think we'll see the same if they can reach that stage of the season, making it to the playoffs. I think we'll see Ben Roethlisberger struggle to push it down the field with that arm.
Yeah, the Steelers are just looking for it because I think the Browns is going to win that division hands down.
For sure.
It's just going to be a battle between the Ravens and the Steelers, just how it was last year. But it's just who's going to sneak in that wild card spot, which I think the Broncos and the Chargers are going to battle it out for wild card.
I'm not big on the Chargers.
Yeah. The Chargers. Okay, the Raiders. I hate the Raiders.
Well, we're talking about Chargers.
Yeah, the Raiders are not even in the discussion. It's between the Broncos and Chargers for who's going to get the wild card spot.
I think the Chargers are so paper thin when it comes to depth this year. I can think of. I mean,
Eckler's hurt. He's
hurt.
But he's questionable.
I was thinking about the defense. Joey Bosa and Derwin James, who's had injury
Exactly,
issues.
and that's it.
Who else can you name on that defense?
Nobody. It's
Is Jaylen Brown still there? I'm sure, but he's not. He's not anyone.
Yeah, he's not a big guy, but I believe in Justin Herbert and Keenan Allen. That duo is going to be a killer. But I think the Broncos. Yeah, the Broncos they're going to be a team to beat this year just because they have so much high expectations for their defense to be good because Patrick Surtain is going to be in there.
And even on top of that, Ronald Darby and Bryce Callahan.
But I'm not saying the Chargers are going to win the wild card. I'm not saying the Broncos are winning the wild card. It's just they're going to be throughout the season. They're just going to be beefing it out. They're going to be.
What scares me about the Chargers is Justin Herbert's play style. Well, to begin, Justin Herbert played pretty phenomenally last year, and that's going to be hard to replicate for him. We see a lot of quarterbacks take a sophomore slump, and I don't know if he'll be the exception.
Yeah.
And then his play style reminded me a lot of Carson Wentz, a very volatile player, a lot of 50-50 balls that his guys just happen to come down with. Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, they're good receivers. He lost Hunter Henry this offseason to the Patriots.
But then they got Cook, but, I mean... He's not. Jared Cook, tight end.
Oh, Jared Cook. He's kind of old now.
Not old. And then, so Eckler, I think, is just questionable. It's just, if he stays healthy, then their run game is going to be on point. But
I'm kind of scared of that O-line. I like Rashawn Slater, but the rest of that O-line, especially, even then, Rashawn Slater's a rookie. Who knows what type of impact he'll have.
Sure.
But that offensive line, kind of scares me.
Yeah, they're going to be battling, of course.
So with all those points being made, with all the different types of NFL awards out there, who do y'all see him being MVP this year?
I want to go last. Caden, you go first.
Okay. This is something I flipped and flopped a lot with, and even now I'm not sure how passionate I am with my pick. But I think I think he was in the conversation this year, and I think he'll be the winner this year, and that's Josh Allen. Josh Allen, he has great chemistry with Stephon Diggs. And I saw this take on the Stay Hot pod, and it's like if the Panthers were built better. And Josh Allen reminds me a lot of Cam Newton. That huge frame, that strong arm, that physical runner.
I think he's better. I think he's better than prime Cam Newton. Just because he's... I know he has been into a Super Bowl, but, I mean,
The only thing I'd have to disagree with that is that I don't think Josh Allen's running ability is as good as Cam Newton.
Not quite as good, but it's comparable.
It's there, but I think Cam Newton...
It's just like it's 50-50. Josh Allen's got a better arm.
We can argue about that
Cam
all day.
Newton's got it.
But what I will say is that Stephon Diggs, great receiver, top 5 receiver. I don't think anyone here is going to argue that.
Cole Beasley's a little step behind.
Cole Beasley's great in the slot. He had a great year last year. You also you include Emmanuel Sanders in that receiving core. He's got options. And then, I mean, they got Devin Singletary and Zach Moss running the ball. That's not a running game that I fear. That's not a running game if I'm a coach that I want to rely on. I'm going to be throwing the ball a lot, especially with Josh Allen and his frame and his youth. That's a guy I believe in, and that's a guy who I think can carry my offense. And that's what you really need. You need to be the most valuable player, and I think he has a chance to prove that he is the most valuable player to his team. And I think the Bills are good enough to be a top 2 seed in the AFC. That's what you need. You need to be a top winning team in the league, and you need to be a valuable player. And that's what Josh Allen's going to be next year.
I think Josh Allen is a good player, but I don't think he'll have the MVP season, but I'll touch on that whenever.
Well, who do you have?
Yeah, well, so for my MVP, quarterbacks, unless it's Patrick Mahomes, I'll accept him as the MVP. But quarterbacks it's getting boring. Them being MVP all the time, but
it's going to be Aaron Rodgers again. So you're worried about.
Yeah. Sure. So speaking of Aaron's, I think it's going to be Aaron Donald this year, just because he has to be blocked by 4 people. I saw a clip of him being blocked by 4 people.
It was
and
like 3 or 4
3 or 4
and he
people.
still got the sack.
And this man went off. He got robbed of being number 1. I think he should have been number 1, even though Patrick Mahomes was number 1. But Aaron Donald, he 100% deserves a number 1 spot every year. But he had so many solo tackles.
You're referring to the NFL Top 100, right?
Yeah, NFL Top 100. He had a lot of solo tackles, and then I think he led the league in solo tackles. And then I just
don't think that's true. I think a linebacker probably did that. What I will say about Aaron Donald is that his stats, compared to TJ Watt, they might not have jumped off your screen quite as much. But what does jump off your screen is what he does for that defense.
He's the main guy on that.
Absolutely.
If the Rams didn't have Aaron Donald on that defense, they would not even be in a question for a playoff spot. Now that they have Matthew Stafford, they may have one, but counting Matt Stafford out, Aaron Donald is the core to that defense. Jalen Ramsey is there. I mean,
but you work around Aaron Donald.
Yeah, you work around. I mean,
but just Aaron Donald being on the field, he gets so much attention that he leaves opportunities for other people.
You can't run
to the quarterback.
You can't run against them.
That's the same reason that Leonard Floyd, coming off the edge, had a great year last year and has a huge contract on the Rams this year, is because Aaron Donald freed him up a lot. Mm-hmm. I think Aaron Donald is going to miss. I think he's missed him this past year. And Ndamukong Suh was a guy that took a lot of attention away from Aaron Donald and allowed him to get 20 sacks in that incredible Defensive Player of the Year year. And I think last year, Aaron Donald's reputation demanded that he will be looked more than just stats. Because TJ Watt would have won off the stats, but Aaron Donald, the narrative and what you look at when you actually look in depth, that he was absolutely the Defensive Player of the Year last year.
And a lot of times, I know this stinks, but you got to keep in mind, they hardly ever look at all that. They're looking at just numbers.
No, exactly. But
Aaron Donald's the exception. Stinks. Yeah, I don't think they would do.
I think but he was the exception last year because TJ Watt had more sacks. I don't know the exact numbers, but I think TJ Watt outperformed him in most of the major categories. But I think everyone was smart enough to see that Aaron Donald is that guy.
He's a young guy.
I have noticed her recently. They have started looking in to see the performance of the player, how they put that performance for their team, and not just stat numbers here recently.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron, he's a beast.
But I will say that I don't think there's any way that he wins MVP.
Yeah,
I mean,
if he has another year where he has like I'm looking at the stats right now. He had 45 tackles all in general, and then 27 of those were solo. I mean, it's insane that.
From a 3-tech for sure.
And he has to be blocked by 2, 3, 4 people on the offensive line just so that the running back could get to the line of scrimmage without him. Because if he's guarded by one person, it's over. He's winning that 1-on-1 hands down, regardless. That's why I think he's the MVP. Is because if he wasn't there, the Rams defense would not be in the question for like top 10.
I think he can be your MVP, but I don't think he can ever be the MVP just because it's a quarterback.
I'm going out on a limb just because quarterbacks, it's boring when they always win MVP. For sure. But I like defensive players more.
No, I respect the pick.
I agree with Easton, but the person I think that could win it just because they lost their quarterback, and I think they're going to be leaning more towards their running back because they believe in him. It would probably be Alvin Kamara. And the only reason I say that is because I don't know how much trust they have in Teddy Bridgewater.
No, Jameis Winston.
Jameis Winston. Yeah, cut that out. I don't know why Teddy Bridgewater. I don't know how much. God, I don't got me off.
No, you had yourself off.
Yeah. I don't know how much trust they have in Jameis Winston at quarterback. And to be honest, I don't know why they didn't keep Taysom Hill in there because to me, I thought he.
I will debate you. I will debate you on that. So, that's gonna have to be in the next episode because I feel very passionate about that.
To me, I thought Taysom Hill proved his starting position last year, but that's a different topic. But yeah, I think they're gonna lean towards Alvin Kamara running the ball more, short passes here and there, just to get the offense going and stuff like that. I mean, last year even with Drew Brees, he had almost 1,000-yard season, 16 touchdowns. I think those are all rushing. And it's just someone I could see that can go off on a limb and have MVP.
That one game where he had,
6 touchdowns.
Six touchdowns.
Should have had 7. Sean Payton's in love with Taysom Hill and gave him the ball. He could have had 7.
I know. He should. I was so mad. I was watching that game. I was so mad when they didn't give him a 7 to beat the touchdown record.
It was the shoes, man.
But hey, if you had him on fantasy that week, consider yourself lucky because that won't happen again next year. It could. I mean, it could. But it's more likely it's not going to.
Well, hey, do we want to talk about Aaron Rodgers is going to get the Offensive Player of the Year award?
Absolutely not.
There's more talent, but if we Offensive Player of the Year,
yeah, who do you got?
Kyler Murray.
Okay.
I mean, he's gonna. I drafted him in fantasy this year, and I think he's gonna go off with DeAndre Hopkins mostly helping him the way. He's gonna toss it up to D-Hop, and it's gonna make him look good. And then they also picked up AJ Green, and I just think he's gonna have a better season than Josh Allen. That's why I have Aaron Donald as my MVP, and then Kyler Murray is going to beat out Josh Allen.
Nah, I completely disagree with that. I think
who do you get?
With him saying Josh Allen being MVP, I can see him taking away Offensive Player of the Year.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Maybe not MVP, but I could definitely see.
Kyler Murray's got better legs than Josh Allen.
I don't know.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
Josh Allen can hit harder. Josh Allen.
I think the frame allows Josh Allen to do a little bit more with it. I mean, I definitely agree that Kyler Murray's faster, but Josh Allen's frame, he's probably more dynamic as a runner. Just because he has...
on 1 yard line. 1 yard, 1 yard line, quarterback run. Who do you want? Yeah. Kyler Murray or Josh Allen?
Yeah, true. But if you're wanting, if he's wide open, I mean, it doesn't really matter. If a quarterback does a quarterback sneak, unless you're Andy Reid at the 1 yard line with Patrick Mahomes. You're whenever you're doing QB sneak, you're just gonna run around the offensive line.
I'm saying right up the middle.
Right up the middle. That's a stupid decision, to be honest.
Oh, how many times have you seen it though?
I'm never gonna.
The quarterback sneaks up the middle with an offensive line. This happened to Patrick Mahomes when they won the Super Bowl. His knee was on the other side of his leg when he went a QB sneak up the middle.
I don't know why we're having this debate. Kyler Murray at what I would probably say is a 5'8", like an actual 5'8", is never attempting a QB sneak in his life.
Yeah, there's no way. But I mean, if he's got the running room, he can. We saw it.
Well, you're not going to call a QB sneak. No, he'll definitely have designed runs, but you're never getting him on a QB sneak at the goal line. What I will say is that when I was picking my MVP, I really struggled not to pick Kyler Murray. But I'm not picking him for Offensive Player of the Year because I think the NFL and the media is moving away from voting quarterbacks as Offensive Player of the Year. I think MVP is viewed as the best quarterback in the league that year. I think that's what that award is. what I've seen recently is that the offensive player of the year has become the best skill possession offensive player. And
I
that's,
could get on board with that because I want to find someone more dynamic and something that's more.
It just changes
not
up.
just a
Yeah,
quarterback.
I would accept if your guys' offensive player of the year is a running back, I'd accept that too. But I think Kyler Murray, just if he'll either win MVP or offensive player of the year, because I think he's gonna have a good year. He's gonna run. He's gonna make defensive think, oh, is he gonna run this time or is he just gonna let it loose to DeAndre Hopkins? So they're gonna make defenses think about what they're gonna do.
For sure.
Mean, they're gonna think about if they're playing Patrick Mahomes, just shorter and just a little quicker. But
yeah, I can see that. And I think he does have the arm talent. But for my offensive player, do you feel like you've wrapped up pretty well?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, for my offensive player of the year, I have Darren Waller. We'll get more into Darren Waller later.
When was the last time a tight end was picked?
Never. They've never won offensive player of the year, and I think that narrative is gonna benefit him because awards are all narrative based. They are storylines. They are voted on by the media, and the media loves a storyline.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they'll pick him.
Darren Waller is the third best tight end. I believe that. I believe Travis Kelce and George Kittle are ranked above him.
Okay,
but I think
who's the second?
But I think the situation allows Darren Waller to attract so much attention, and I think he might just break the receiving yard record. I think it's between him and Travis Kelce to break the tight end receiving yard record with an extra game this year. Mm-hmm. But guess who Travis Kelce has to compete with to get touches? Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Who's Darren Waller competing with? Henry Ruggs.
Yeah, he's
Henry Ruggs. I think will benefit him.
He'll go off games, but
I think with Henry Ruggs' speed, he will benefit Darren Waller and Darren Waller's catches because he's going to take the top off the defense, draw that safety, and then who's your safety blanket? Darren Waller.
Yeah.
Derek Carr, I think, is going to throw the ball a lot this year. I think he's capable of getting Darren Waller, 1,600 yards and double-digit touchdowns. And I think the narrative will be there. I think people have started to fall in love with Darren Waller. I think to win an award, you have to have an establishing year before that. I think that's a big reason why Josh Allen wasn't quite as huge in MVP talks this year, just because this is kind of his first year. Yeah. I think people want to see you do it one year and then go do it again before they give you an award. And Darren Waller did it last year, and I think he'll do it even better this year.
Yeah, I kind of like that pick. You kind of hooked me. So I do agree with you. I think Darren Waller could be up there. I think if he lives up to the expectation, he will be in the talks. But I'm not a coach, but I'd rather give up because there's no way Darren Waller is going to be running down the field a 40-yard freaking sprint.
I mean, he's got the speed to do it for sure.
He's got the speed, but
that's not really.
That's not going to be him. He's just going to be more mid-range passes and short little passes that coaches would rather give the shorter passes up than a deep ball to Henry Ruggs.
And the thing about Darren Waller is that he's got this speed-size combo where he can take this short pass, use his speed and his size to take it even longer. We've seen George Kittle do that. We've seen Travis Kelce do that. And that's the thing that I think those three guys, Darren Waller, Travis Kelce, George Kittle, those are the only three tight ends in the league that can do that right now. Maybe
T.J. Hawkinson.
I don't know if T.J. Hawkinson quite has the speed to do it like that. I think he'll be a great possession receiver, but I think maybe Kyle Pitts can introduce that to his game. But right now, those are the three guys that I think can take a ball, a 15-yard catch, and turn it into a touchdown at any point in the game. Those are the three tight ends that can do that.
We'll get to Kyle Pitts later.
Okay. So moving on from this dead-beaten horse, who do y'all have for defensive player of the year?
All right. I think we all can agree. It's
yeah, Aaron Rodgers again. I agree.
Wrong Aaron. Yeah, wrong Aaron.
I disagree.
Really? I don't know. Aaron Donald, man.
No. I'm not saying Aaron Donald.
Oh, really?
Defensive player of the year?
Defensive player. Oh, I thought we were doing defensive rookie. Defensive player of the year, Patrick Surtain.
Whoa, defensive player of the year? No, defensive player of the year. Not
defensive
rookie.
Player?
Yeah.
What the heck? Oh, Myles Garrett.
I can get on board with that, yeah.
I'm leaving that in there.
I'm thinking of rookies.
No, yeah, I agree.
Defensive player of the year, I think it's Myles Garrett. He's gonna have a good year, just because he's gonna be heavily relied on.
Oh, if he's gonna get the award, I hope he has a good year.
Yes, he's gonna have another great year.
Okay.
What I'll say about Myles Garrett, Well, first, I hate to bet against Aaron Donald, but I think voter fatigue is real. I think when you see a player win so many times in a row, you kind of want to give it to somebody else. And I think Myles Garrett was in those conversations last year before he got COVID. He missed 2 games because of COVID, and post-COVID, he was not the same player. He himself has even said that he was at 50% after COVID and that it kicked his butt. And he said it a little less nice than I just did. But he was definitely impacted. And guess what? He still put up 12 sacks.
Yeah. He was right there with Aaron Donald last year.
He put up the 12 sacks.
And if he didn't have those 2 games where he had COVID,
And
I
in
think he
post.
would have beat Aaron Donald.
I don't know if he would have beat him, but I don't know if we're talking about Aaron Donald, TJ Watt. I think maybe we're talking about Aaron Donald and Myles Garrett in the conversation.
Yeah, Myles. I like Myles Garrett.
I love him.
The Browns, I think they're going to be fun to watch, and I'm glad that the Chiefs beat them in the playoffs, but they were fun. It was a fun, interesting game.
For sure.
I think that's going to be Chiefs' biggest problem this year.
Yeah.
And
I'm waiting for
one
it.
more thing with Myles Garrett is that the Browns have really failed to line someone up opposite of him on that D-line that can kind of take up that attention. I don't think I've really been impressed with. I think they had Emmanuel Ogbah lining up, he was decent, but now they have Jadeveon Clowney, who is for sure he's definitely more of a run guy.
Yeah.
But I think he's at least a presence on that other side that I don't think the Browns have had. I don't think Myles Garrett has had that, and I think that might free him up just even a little bit more to just do a little bit more, especially in the run game. I think we could find him getting some more tackles for loss this year.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with your pick. I think Myles Garrett is a great pick, and I do struggle to pick against Aaron Donald, but where's the fun in that?
Yeah. Do we want to? I'm just gonna run through who I got. So I think Patrick Surtain's gonna win Defensive Rookie of the Year,
Okay.
and then I think Kyle Pitts is gonna win Offensive Rookie of the Year, and then Dak, of course, we can all agree is gonna win Comeback Player of the Year.
I agree with
If he has a good year though.
I think he's so lined up to have a great year. The receiving core is excellent. The old line is healthy finally, and the running backs are there.
We're watching the game right now, and Dak has so much time in that pocket right now.
Yeah, especially against that incredible Buccaneers defense, the defensive line.
Oh yeah, Jason Pierre. Yeah, they gave the Chiefs a hard time, especially. I'm not even going to talk about that.
What I will say about your defensive rookie of the year pick, that was definitely a guy that I considered because I think that the talent is absolutely there for Patrick Surtain.
Because he's gonna lead that. He's not gonna lead that team in the on the defensive side, but I think
he has zero chance to do that.
You think?
I think there's a chance that that's the reason I didn't pick him. I think that just due to experience, I think corner it might be the hardest position to play in all of sports. So I really have a hard time picking him as a rookie to come in and be that defensive rookie of the year, especially with the guys that are on that team. I will say he's in a great situation because he has a great secondary and a great pass rush to help him out. But
I'll just say if he can lock down Tyreek Hill, he's got my vote. Because I mean that's who.
Well, you're not voting.
Yeah, he's got my vote.
You were saying how being a corner is a difficult position to play.
Absolutely.
Not only is it athletically, but if you were in the secondary at all and you're letting anything get past you,
you're not going to.
You're the reason you're losing all the time.
Yeah, and that's
no one's looking at the D line.
That's not a hard thing to play as a rookie.
Yeah.
I mean, that weighs on you mentally as well. That hurts your confidence, and your confidence plays directly into how you're playing.
Absolutely.
Especially the secondary, the corners are always about swagger. Jalen Ramsey, Josh Norman, Richard Sherman, those guys, they have that attitude, and they back it up.
I mean, you kind of have to.
That's why my pick is Micah Parsons of the Cowboys. Kind of a hybrid linebacker. He can drop back in coverage. He can rush the passer a little bit. I'm a big fan of him, and like I said earlier, a lot of these awards, yeah. But like I said earlier, these awards are narrative based, and who has a better narrative than Micah Parsons? Because I don't know if besides the talent, who would have expected the Cowboys to select another linebacker, having Leighton Vander Esch, having Jalen Smith? But they did it when a lot of people thought they should go with Pat Surtain.
Yeah,
and then we get them on Hard Knocks, where people can familiarize themselves with who is Micah Parsons.
Exactly.
Well, we all know. Everyone knows. He has this storyline. He's in a prime position where he can rack up tackles, kind of have a Darius Leonard type season, I think. So that's why he's my pick. I think Pat Surtain is definitely a very talented player, but I don't think he's in line to be the defensive rookie of the year.
It's going to be between. I mean, hopefully I'm not wrong, but Patrick Surtain, I'm holding him to high standards, and Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
I'm holding them to.
And then another guy I will throw in there that I think is a dark horse, Zaven Collins, linebacker for the Cardinals. I think he's a guy to look out for as kind of a sleeper pick.
Yeah.
And as far as offensive rookie of the year, who was your pick?
Offensive rookie, Kyle Pitts.
Kyle Pitts. I like that. I think one thing that kind of strays me away is just the tight ends take a little bit to adjust. But I will say this: I don't know if they're going to use him directly as a tight end. I think he'll line up in the slot a lot of the time.
Yeah, that's what I was about to get to. Yeah, he's gonna be more than he's slimmer than Kittle.
Yeah, but he's 6'6", 240.
Yeah,
which is insane. He's an insane build.
Yeah, he's quick. I think he will transform the tight end position this year, and he's got Matt Ryan as a quarterback, which is fine.
It's serviceable.
And I mean, having Matt Ryan as a quarterback it's okay, but he'll get you the ball.
The only thing about that, has Matt Ryan ever had a good tight end to throw to though? Right? He's more used to throwing it to wide receivers.
Did he get Gonzalez at the very end of his career?
Yeah, he got Gonzalez. That was not Chiefs Gonzalez, but I mean. Ravens,
but you guys see my point though. Like he's more used to throwing to receivers instead of tight ends.
Obviously, Julio Jones is no longer there, so that frees up some
targets. Yeah, that is true.
Mm-hmm.
What I really struggled to find offensive rookie of the year. There's just so many rookie quarterbacks, and it's hard to pick against a quarterback for an award.
As long as it's not.
Trevor Lawrence.
It's not Trevor Lawrence. I bounce back and forth with Trevor Lawrence just because of the offensive.
No, but I would love to see that. I want to see him do good.
I would.
There's not a player in this league that I do not want to see good. When I am down on a player, I do it with a lot of disdain because I want to see these players succeed. But a guy that I really I don't like him that much. I really don't. I questioned the pick when he was selected in the draft, but things are just lining up for Mac Jones.
I'm feeling you, man.
He is.
God.
Okay, he inherits probably the best team out of all these rookies.
He's a good coach.
He's a great coach. He has this. I don't know if I want to say rejuvenated offense, but there's some weapons there. Johnny Smith, Hunter Henry, Nelson Aguilar, and
honestly, I can see Mac Jones,
Jacoby Myers,
Hunter Henry connecting a lot this year.
No way.
He is a pro-ready type of player, and I think he has one of the lower ceilings out of all these guys. I think. For their careers, I think Zach Wilson could end up being better. I think Trevor Lawrence, and I think Trey Lance absolutely will. That's my guy. But he is starting week 1. He's already won the QB battle. He's looked great in the preseason. Bill Belichick likes him because Bill Belichick has never started a rookie quarterback before. He is starting Mac Jones.
Yeah.
And I think
they didn't even keep
Cam Newton.
They
have to feel confident. They have to feel confident.
See ya. I'm out.
So I think Mac Jones.
If Mac Jones wins offensive, even goes to if he even leads the Patriots to a playoff position, that would be insane. Well, I'd be surprised because I don't think Mac Jones.
I don't think
I like Mac Jones, but I just don't think he's gonna be.
But see, with that type of team, though, you don't have to be amazing to do great.
Right.
Yeah, I think the system's there for you, and then. Okay,
and this is going to be a great first year for him. This is going to get him used to it real easy.
Trey Lance and Justin Fields are not week 1 starters like he is. Mm-hmm. Trevor Lawrence is inheriting a terrible offensive line with some pretty good weapons. Then Zach Wilson is inheriting a poverty franchise. And I don't even know if I like Zach Wilson that much.
On the twist there, that's why Trevor Lawrence could get that.
No, I agree.
Because if he has a not so good offense and he makes something,
for sure,
then it's obviously no question that's going to be him.
No, I agree. It's just so risky for me to. I believe in the talent. He looked kind of rough in preseason, and it's hard to bet against this absolutely solidified number 1 overall guy. He's been the number 1 overall guy. I don't think he's ever had a losing season since high school. I mean, before high school.
Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see what happens.
He's had like the best coaches. I mean, well, I don't know who his high school coach is, but he had Nick Saban as his college coach, and then he goes to Bill Belichick, which are the.
Oh, you're talking about Mac Jones.
Mac Jones.
I was talking Trevor Lawrence.
I thought we were still talking about him.
No, I'm talking about Mac Jones. Mac Jones is coach. He has had the best coaches, and he's been the luckiest guy. I mean, imagine having Nick Saban and then going to the NFL, having Bill Belichick.
I will say this
down
as
your
well.
Which
throat
are the same guy, just different leagues.
Yeah.
I do not believe in this Mac Jones Tom Brady comparison because they're both unathletic white guys.
Yeah.
I don't believe in that. But I mean, this is a film guy. I saw this today where apparently him and his girlfriend will go to their backyard and run through the plays, the Patriots playbook.
That's commitment.
That's commitment. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's commitment.
first of all, that's a W girlfriend.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But like, I just can't believe that Mac Jones is doing that. Apparently he also had to help teach the playbook to Cam Newton. He did that. I don't remember who said that. Somebody on the Patriots roster said that.
Yeah,
Mac Jones.
I just don't think Cam's committed anymore.
I think he is. I think absolutely Cam is committed. I've never questioned. We need to have a Cam Newton debate because I think I'm the only Cam believer in this room. So that might have to be a thing for next week.
I feel like he wants to be there, but there's
And he's had
commitment somewhere that he's lacking.
he's
that
He's
he
having
not
vaccinated.
positioned.
That's
Cam,
it.
Yeah.
I think that's the only reason he's cut right now.
He's
Is that
having
not
COVID
vaccinated.
problems. I mean, he can't. He's got us.
Listen, let's not
Yeah,
talk about
yeah.
Cam Newton because I will do this for an hour. We
Yeah.
got to do this next week.
All right.
All right, so
Oh, comeback. I guess
Go for it.
words. No, I was thinking comeback player of the year, but we kind of already.
Yeah,
touched
you
on
said
that.
Dak.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
always
we're
I
all
think
gonna
we
agree
all
with Dak.
somewhat agree with him.
Yeah.
The only other person I would think would be Saquon, but I just don't think that offensive line.
Yeah,
And
well,
plus,
and
he's
then
not fully
CMC kind of has the
healed.
same narrative,
Yeah.
and then there's
CMC.
Joe Burrow who's in the conversation. But I don't believe in Joe
I
Burrow.
don't think he's gonna perform the way we want him to.
I guess I want everyone to do well, but I just don't. I don't
see it at
I don't see
all.
the talent.
Mm-mm. I called it too. I said when he was drafted, I don't think he'll be good.
Do I think he'll be a quarterback to stay in the NFL? Absolutely. Do I think he's going to perform up to the expectations people wanted him to?
As a first
No.
overall pick, probably not.
Not at all.
He's
I
like,
think he could
everybody's
probably be
saying-
a fringe like Baker Mayfield maybe
Yeah.
type of player.
Everybody-
But
If
even
you ask
then-
me, Baker Mayfield looks more like an NFL ready quarterback than
at the
Joe
time,
I can't
Burrow,
believe
at the time.
Baker.
Mm.
Baker went from like sad mustache guy to like happy mustache guy because
Well,
I think the
So-
past season he has not been doing. He did not do the
To be a
best.
Mario
But then he's
mustache
like,
guy.
boom.
Well, he
He's
did.
in
He
playoffs.
kind of cleaned it up towards the end of the season.
Mm.
Are we ready to
absolutely
move
love
into our
watching
game
him play.
picks?
Yeah.
Yep,
Um,
I was about to go into that one.
So
Alright.
So currently, the Buccaneers and Cowboys game is at halftime, 21-16 Tampa Bay. But I'll be honest with you, Tampa Bay has been looking a little rough.
it's closer than I expected.
Yeah,
a lot closer. Mm-hmm.
I figured Tampa Bay was going to run away with this one.
I mean, Tom Brady already has 2 interceptions. Granted, one of them
He has
is-
2?
Yeah, well, his running back botched a catch, and it
running back
landed
watched
right in
ran,
there.
landed
I mean,
right
that's
to
Tom Brady. I mean,
And
then-
I think
and
this
then-
this last one here, the Hail Mary at the end of
the
the
Hail
half,
Mary at the end.
I think they
mean,
were anticipating that was an option,
Yeah.
or they wouldn't have made that type
Yeah, I
of
mean,
pass
an
decision.
interception at that stage of the game means nothing.
And to someone like Tom Brady, an interception like that isn't going
it's
to
not
be
going to phase him at all.
or it's not also going to be a negative look against him because
It shouldn't
I
face
mean,
any quarterback.
that was like part of the idea there.
you know
Yeah.
who's not performing that well in that game right now? Ezekiel Elliott with 4 carries,
Okay.
12 yards.
We were talking about this before we started the show. I can't believe the Cowboys still have Ezekiel.
They have to have him.
I would have
Yeah.
kicked him 3 years ago when he wasn't showing up to practice, doing all that bull crap. I would have kicked him then.
I
Yeah.
think just because you invested a first round pick, an
Exactly.
early first round pick.
I mean,
in this
when
guy,
you have a first,
and
I
you
do
give him a
agree.
huge
he-
contract. You give him a huge contract. Well, you're not cutting him. I mean, you can't. That's so much dead cap that you're putting on for no reason. Might as well keep him on the roster. I still think he has the potential to be a top 15 running back in this league, maybe even top 10.
Mhm.
I will say that.
Well, out of
He's
being
just gotta
only
pick it up.
30
I mean, it's
teams in
to
the
be-
league or 32 teams.
Well,
I mean,
I
easily
mean, I
he
feel
could
like
be a top half.
each team needs 2 good running backs in my
Oh,
opinion.
yeah,
to be
yeah.
successful.
I had to give you a hard time with that one.
No,
No,
that's fair.
Yeah. All right. So I still think the Bucks are still going to win this game.
yeah, I still think they were too.
I-
Yeah. They'll probably.
Now, don't
be
get me
good.
wrong. I would love to see the Cowboys win this game.
I'm
I
think
wouldn't be
it'd
so.
funny. That'd be hilarious.
Cowboys. The Cowboys fans. I just they
They're the best.
they give they're the best. They give me so many problems.
There's
Okay,
nothing
But
else
I
that
like the
passes me.
Cowboys.
Take this in consideration, though. The way the Cowboys are performing now, with the Bucks keeping all their starters from last year's Super Bowl, but the way they're performing right now, granted it's only halftime.
They're performing.
How
better
does
than
this
Chiefs.
look for the Cowboys for the season?
I don't know. I could see you can tell in this game they
Look at
want
that
this.
passing volume.
I mean,
32 passes in one half. That's pretty insane.
Yeah, he's
I mean, I think that's exactly what we should have expected this year coming from Dak, because he has this huge contract. He has these 3 wide receivers, Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, and Michael Gallup.
Mm-hmm.
He's in this offense that's going to need him to throw the ball and be an MVP candidate if they're going to be successful. And so far, he's doing that. When I was thinking about this game, I definitely thought the Bucs were going to win.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But I also considered the
Well,
fact
did y'all
that
see the over/under for this game?
it was like 8,
It was like
8.5.
or the overall point spread.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, it was like the largest defeat predicted in NFL history.
Which I just,
Really?
I was looking at this roster,
Wow.
and I was looking at each individual unit of like the secondary, the O-line, the front 7, and I thought the Cowboys might match up as well as any other team to go against the Bucs, at least offensively, because La'el Collins, Tyron Smith, that might be a top 3 tackle duo in the league when healthy.
True.
Obviously, Zach Martin's missing this game due to COVID, which is unfortunate. Does certainly hurt with Vita Vea and Ndamukong Suh being in those trenches. But you also have the weakest part of this Buccaneers defense is this secondary unit. They're good, but it's definitely the weakest part of this defense.
Well, it's definitely hurting them in this game. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
they have
just
so
Michael
many
Gallup,
PIs
CeeDee
already.
Lamb, and
Yeah.
Amari Cooper. Who do you try to lock down?
But to be honest, though, both of these teams' secondaries have been the
Oh,
weak
for
link
sure.
this game.
Yeah, Sean Murphy
Because-
Bunting just went out.
Well, yeah,
that
the,
certainly doesn't help.
the receivers on the Bucs side have been outrunning everyone on the
AB's
Dallas
going off.
defense so
Yeah,
far.
Antonio
That-
Brown is definitely.
Speaking
looked
of
good so
AB,
far.
that's someone who I wouldn't expect. I mean, it is AB, but he's playing a lot better in this game than I figured he would have.
Yeah,
I
we're
thought-
we're looking at highlights right here, and right there before the end of the half, the Bucs D line was giving Dak a really hard time.
I
there at the
disagree.
end.
I thought that
Well,
they
they
would
had-
have more of an impact on this game than they have.
Well, they have, but just all of a sudden, right there before the end
Yeah,
of the half,
certainly on
they
that play.
finally turned on.
But so far, I don't know if I quite projected them to do this well against this defense, especially these Jason Pierre-Paul and Shaquille Barrett.
Yeah, this is
Those
a
are-
team. They
that's a
locked
great
down the
edge
Chiefs
rushing
in the
unit.
Super Bowl, and they're the Cowboys are doing better than
Those
the
they have more
Chiefs were
points
in the
right
Super
now.
Bowl.
Yeah.
Well, look at the two teams that you have going on right here. You have the Bucs, who are the best right now, quote unquote,
Yeah.
Most talented roster in the league for sure.
and then you have the Cowboys, who the Bucs come in here knowing they're the best, knowing that they could easily sleep on the Cowboys and still win this game, but the Cowboys want this game.
I think
Yeah.
I think Dak wants this game.
Or
I
exactly,
think he wants to prove he
I
can
think
still
Dak
play
is
after his
definitely
injury. Yeah.
evolved
He's
into a
got
leader for
something
this
to prove.
team.
Yeah. And then
So,
also,
but we're all still picking the Bucs.
yeah. I
Oh,
think,
yeah.
I think,
I mean, yeah. And look at the end.
That's
Now,
I would
will
be
be-
surprised if the
I was
Cowboys.
about to say,
won.
I won't be surprised if the Cowboys come up with this,
Oh my gosh.
but
Is that
I believe the Bucs will
is
lock
that
it down.
Antoine Winfield?
Yeah.
Is that who that is?
Winfield, I don't know, but Sean Murphy Bunting was just seen on the sidelines wearing a hoodie.
Wow, that's definitely not good for the
Yeah.
Bucs.
But okay, so the next game, Chiefs and Browns. I'll let you guys go first.
It's
Browns.
Chiefs at home, right?
Chiefs are at home.
Browns got
Just
it.
just realize the Chiefs are at home.
Browns
And they're
got
gonna
it.
have fans this year.
Browns got it.
Fans this year.
Fans,
Yeah,
fans this year.
I got the Chiefs for sure.
Chiefs. Okay.
I'm going with the Browns.
I think it's gonna be a good game, but I think the team that's gonna win is gonna win by 10 points, and I have the Chiefs.
Okay. So
I'm not picking a point spread. I think it's kind of arbitrary. I think it's hard to predict
I
that.
think Patrick Mahomes has something to prove after getting shut out in the Super Bowl.
Patrick
There's-
Mahomes is going to get hurt. The
No,
Browns are
stop,
going to win it
stop.
with a game-ending
Don't even say
field
it.
goal.
I'm not wishing injury on anyone or
Yeah,
even predicting
but
that.
okay, so there are fans. This is the loudest stadium. I don't care if Seahawks fans are watching this. I probably won't, but if Seahawks fans are watching this, the Chiefs had the loudest stadium in the NFL, hands down, and they are all going to be back. So I think it's going to be loud. They're gonna give the Browns offense some problems. But I'm going to go with the Chiefs, even though the over under is 5.5. So I think they'll beat them by more. Maybe I think by 10. So
I think it'll certainly be a close game. I think
Well,
the
so
Browns
the
roster,
Browns-
especially on defense,
The
is
Browns
really well
want to prove. I think the Browns left something on the table last year that they
Wanna
can show
pick
that
back
they
up.
can beat the Chiefs,
Mhm.
and so they're gonna come out gun
But-
blazing.
But Patrick Mahomes went out, and then they got outperformed by a backup in Chad Henne,
That was his
who
good, that was
ran
his good play
19.
making.
That was a first down, by the way. Chad Henne ran 19 yards without being touched and dove for the first down. And Browns defense weren't even worried about it. So that's what they got to take in, that they got to be ready for everything. I think the Chiefs would have blown them out if Patrick Mahomes was still in the game.
Something a reason I am picking the Chiefs is Pat Mahomes has to have some type of chip on his shoulder after the deconstruction of the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. He has something to prove, and I don't even think he should have to prove anything. I think he was phenomenal. The stats might not show that, but you look at where he was throwing these balls, how he contorted his body, the platforms that he was throwing these balls off of. It's just insane. I've never seen anything like it. I'm a Packers fan. I am an Aaron Rodgers believer. He won MVP last year. But I could never say that he's better than Pat Mahomes. I can't say that. Not in confidence.
That's a debate for whenever the season goes on.
I just can't do it. Yeah. When I saw what Pat Mahomes was doing in that Super Bowl, he was hitting these receivers in their hands and they were dropping it, but that's not on him. These balls were insane.
Dodgeball through Goodman. Aaron.
He had guys at his legs. He was off the ground completely in the air, forward throwing this ball.
The hair's flowing cotton.
It's unbelievable. What I will say though, the Browns, I think they'll be a lot better. I think maybe if they meet in the playoffs, I would give it to the Browns. I'll have to see how the season plays out.
Yeah.
But
Chiefs are going undefeated.
I think you add Jadeveon Clowney, you add Greg Newsome, and you add John Johnson to this defense. I think they're going to look a lot better in the secondary and in the run defense, something that they struggled with last year.
Yeah. Odell's back.
Odell's back and healthy.
I don't think he's going to be 100% though, but I definitely believe he's going to be.
I think he'll be a factor.
Yeah.
And then obviously they have that amazing running back duo with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, former Chief Kareem Hunt. So that's an interesting storyline. Obviously things kind of ended kind of interestingly there. We'll say that much.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah. But I think it's going to be a game. I think it'll be close, but I do give it to the Chiefs.
Yeah. I hope it's a game. So to get a little bit more up on the time here, because time has gotten away from us, we're just going to go at these real fast. So Jaguars and Texans.
Jags. Texans.
Most definitely the Jags.
I got the Jags.
Jags.
Yeah.
Chargers and Washington. I got Chargers.
I got Washington.
Washington.
Oh,
okay.
Washington.
Are they playing at? They're playing at Washington?
At Washington.
Ooh, I think it'll be a close
Chase
game.
Young's going to be giving Justin Herbert
Hey,
some
watch out
problems.
for Montez Sweat breakout year, okay?
Yeah.
Heard it here first.
Okay, next. 49ers and Lions. Going Lions.
49ers.
I
got Lions are home.
49ers.
I don't care.
Okay.
The Lions.
Okay, fine then, fine.
Yeah.
All right, Jets and Panthers.
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 Sam Darnold revenge game.
I think the Jets.
I'm thinking
the
Jets.
Jets win this game. I think Zach Wilson's going to surprise me.
I think Jets. I'm feeling Jets.
Nah, I got Panthers, dude.
Go,
Okay.
Jets, go.
All right. We already said Browns and Chiefs. Browns going to take that one home.
Oh.
Jeez.
Broncos and Giants.
My Broncos. The Giants
Broncos.
offense.
It's going to be Broncos.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think the Broncos defense is going to shut them down.
And finally, we have Bears and Rams.
Rams for sure.
Rams. Okay. Then we have on the other side here, we have Seattle Seahawks and the Colts.
Seahawks.
Seattle. That's fine.
Okay. Eagles and Falcons. I'm going Falcons.
I got the Eagles, I
Yeah,
guess.
the Eagles are not looking too good. I
I
think
think they're both
Devontae
pretty
Smith will
bad.
have a good game, but I think the Falcons are going to be pretty
I'll
good.
pick Falcons.
Yeah.
Close
Okay.
game though.
Amari Cooper's going off, and I don't like it.
Steelers and Bills. I have Bills.
Give me the Bills.
Bills.
Josh Allen MVP.
Yeah, Bills.
Okay. Vikings and Bengals.
Vikings.
Vikings.
Bengals.
Really? You're picking the
Really? You think
Bengals?
Joe
Okay.
Burrow's going to go off?
No, I was just saying. I say Bengals.
Bengals. I say Bengals.
Oh.
Bengals.
So we all picked the
Bengals.
Vikings though.
But Vikings. Yeah.
Okay. Cardinals and Titans. Cardinals.
Cardinals.
I'll pick the Titans week
Yeah, you
one.
pick,
Okay.
it's gonna be a good game, but
Cardinals. I think people are going to be shocked at how AJ Brown's going to help the Cardinals.
AJ Brown is actually a Titan. AJ Green.
Golly, I'm
is a
messing with
Cardinal.
everyone.
They're actually related. I'm pretty sure.
Zeke-
They're related. I think.
Zeke
I'll have to check on that.
That was incomplete. That was 1 foot. Anyway. Now we have the Dolphins and Patriots. Patriots
Patriots.
Where are we playing? Are we playing at the Dolphins?
at the Patriots.
At the Patriots.
Ooh. No. Yeah.
I'll get in Foxborough. I'll
Yeah.
take the Patriots.
I'll pick the Patriots in Fox.
That's gonna be an interesting game.
Yeah, that's gonna
former,
be good. These are good
Alabama
games. Week 1.
quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Okay. Packers and Saints.
Packers. Saints are no longer home.
Yeah,
They're playing in
Saints,
Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Who knows what that does to a team after they've
And
been
the Saints are
separated
gonna
from their.
struggle.
And
their
correct
home
me if I'm
facilities.
wrong. Saints have got a new quarterback right now,
Jameis
right?
Winston, right?
Because
And Michael
Drew
Thomas is out
Brees
as well.
retired.
And then Michael Thomas is out.
Yeah.
And they had to cut a lot of their depth. Latavius Murray was just cut earlier this week because they were $100 million over the cap. So I think the Packers take that one pretty easily.
Yeah.
All right. And
And
then
now-
The Packers can shut down the run game.
Well, Alvin Kamara kind of owned the Packers last year,
Yeah.
but we'll see.
If they can shut down the run game, then they'll definitely take that game easy.
and then Monday night game.
And then we have
Sunday.
Ravens and Raiders.
That's Monday night.
That's
Oh.
one. Ravens Raiders Monday night.
Monday
Packers
night.
Saints is Sunday.
Yeah.
Packers Saints is Sunday night, and then so the Ravens
And
Raiders
Ravens Raiders
Monday
on Monday night.
Okay. This is at Las Vegas?
At Raiders. I'll take Raiders.
I would take the Raiders too, just because the Ravens defense, dude. The Ravens are
Hollowed.
struggling
But-
because their ACLs are done.
Listen.
On that team, they're just pacing out.
Yeah, but they still got this guy, former MVP Lamar Jackson.
Yeah,
And
true.
the Ravens, if I have learned anything about them throughout the years, they're a great Week 1 team. I don't like the Raiders. I don't like their offensive line. I think there's going to be some growing pains. Give me the Ravens.
Okay.
Okay.
Raiders.
So not moving away from the NFL just yet. These men want to talk about Matt Stafford with the Rams. What do you got for me for there?
Matt Stafford, I think he's gonna have a breakout year. He has a new team. He's got good receivers finally.
Great weapons.
Great weapons. He has Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp. They're gonna be pretty. They got the Cardinals in their division, right?
Oh, yeah, they're actually in the toughest division in football with the Seahawks, the Rams,
Oh, yeah.
obviously the Rams, and then the
That's
Cardinals and 49ers.
They'll definitely give the Seahawks a run for their money this year.
They beat
I
them
can see
last
that.
year in the playoffs.
I
That was a
Yeah.
great game.
I actually considered Matt Stafford as an MVP candidate, but here's my thing about Matt Stafford. Sure, he was in the Lions, so it's hard to win games as a Lion.
He's got something to prove.
But he's 8-67 against winning teams in his career. That is abysmal. That is atrocious.
But I mean, you gotta come to think
They must
their
have good
defen-
defenses.
Yeah, their
Oh.
the Detroit's defense is
But
They're-
think about
But
the-
still,
it's
you
not
gotta-
like- it's
you
not
gotta
like
get
his
that up
offensive-
there.
He's had over the years. He's had pretty good offensive lines, and guess what? He had a top 5 receiver of all time. Goes by the name of Calvin Johnson.
I know, but it's
You gotta
it's
be.
not just
You have to. You have to be better than 8-67.
the Lions' offense was good, but then the defense would come in and it'd just be like what?
I believe.
What?
I believe in him in the regular season, but I think when playoffs come,
Oh no,
if they're winning games, it won't be because of Matt Stafford. It'll be because of that
the
amazing
defense.
defense.
Yeah.
I love the weapons, Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods, as y'all mentioned. I like Tyler Higbee at the tight end. Something I'm not so sure about is Sonny Michel and Darrell Henderson taking over for Cam Akers. I'm not so sure about those running backs. He is a backup on my fantasy team, so I do have some belief in him. But as far as the playoffs go, I think his inexperience will get to him. I think that losing record against winning teams will hurt him. And I think overall we're going to see the Rams take an early playoff exit.
So going into fantasy football, who is the one player you're going to stick with all year or all season? Who you might give up? And going on with that, this week we had a pretty controversial trade in our fantasy football league. So who's got some good details on that?
Hey, you want me to get it?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Okay, so we're in an 8-man league, full PPR. Easton had the first overall pick, selected CMC. I had the 5th overall pick. I selected Tay Adams. And I ended up getting Terry McLaurin and TJ Hawkinson down the line. You picked up Darren Waller. You also had Marvin Jones as your last receiver.
Yeah, I picked
So,
him late though.
I was
I picked
huge
him.
on Darren Waller. As you guys know, I have him as my offensive player of the year. I also believe in Terry McLaurin and TJ Hawkinson. That's the reason I picked them. But I really wanted Darren Waller. So I submitted a trade to Easton. Submitted TJ Hawkinson and Terry McLaurin for a Darren Waller and Marvin Jones swap.
Yeah.
The only reason I included Marvin Jones was just to swap the players on the roster, just so we would both break even on players. I didn't think twice about the talent of Marvin Jones, and he will never find my lineup. He will never be on there.
probably
I think he's decent, but let's be real. He has the opportunity to be a wide receiver 3 on the Jags.
Yeah.
T.J. Hawkinson is very clearly the number 1 guy in Detroit as far as
The number one. The number one. I mean, they got nobody. They lost Adam Dola just yesterday.
Danny Amendola, which I don't think is the biggest loss.
Yeah, but it's another
they lost Kenny Galladay this offseason. And then they have Tyrell Williams, Brashad Perryman, and Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'm not big believers in any of those guys.
Yeah,
I think that T-Hawk will be a great fantasy tight end this year. That's why I picked him.
Yeah.
And I think you saw the value, and that's why you made the trade. Obviously, we've talked about Darren Waller. We know who that guy is.
So this was my thought process of getting this trade. So I talked to one of my friends. I was on FaceTime. I was like, should I take this? Because you offered me them, I think it was like a week prior, and I was thinking about it. But then I was thinking, T.J. Hawkinson's going to be number 1. And so did the person I was talking to. He said, he's going to be the number 1 guy. I think Darren Waller and T.J. Hawkinson will be the same.
I disagree.
It's just Darren Waller will get in the end zone a lot more than T.J. Hawkinson.
I think that could be comparable. I think the targets and the yards and yards after catch will favor Darren Waller.
Mm-hmm. I think so I like T.J. Hawkinson and I do like Darren Waller, but T.J. Hawkinson I think he's gonna be good. He's gonna be up there. He's gonna be under Darren Waller. He's not gonna be as good as him.
Yeah,
he's gonna be good, and that's what I considered. The other thing I considered was Terry McLaurin.
Yeah, I think the almost the centerpiece of this trade.
Yeah, Terry McLaurin, and then I also have Adam Thielen, and I was thinking, like, if I'm not too sure about David Montgomery on my team, so if I need to trade somebody in our league will probably want Adam Thielen if he goes off, and if Terry McLaurin goes off. So I have depth to either get a better running back, and so that's what I had to consider.
For me, I don't think it's a question of if Terry McLaurin will go off. I think it's when, and I think when is now.
Yeah, right.
We have seen this trend of third-year wide receivers going off. And let's not act like Terry McLaurin has been a nobody these past 2 years. He has been fantasy relevant, and he has been a top 15 wide receiver just in the NFL. And he might just take an even further jump. Last year, he was playing with Dwayne Haskins for some time, and then Alex Smith.
Yeah.
And guess what? Alex Smith only completed one pass of 30-plus yards this past season. Ryan Fitzpatrick, he's not a huge upgrade at quarterback, but he does push the ball down the field. We've seen guys have better performances for their career, like guys like Chris Godwin had more success with a guy like Ryan Fitzpatrick, and I think Terry McLaurin, he only had 2 touchdowns last year.
Yeah.
Oftentimes in fantasy, we talk about a guy that is 2 touchdown dependent, a guy like Mike Evans, maybe even a guy like Devontae Adams. We're like, oh, he can't do that again because he just had so many touchdowns. A lot of his points came from touchdowns, and it's going to be hard to replicate that because touchdowns are hard to come by.
Yeah.
And it's hard for me to see Terry McLaurin only getting 2 again. I think we're looking at least 1,200 yards and a minimum of 6 touchdowns, if not 10 or 12.
Yeah, and I still think my team is going to – I think I'm going to be completely honest. I think I won that trade just because of I can get somebody – else on my fantasy team as well. I can acquire a running back now.
My thing is...
there's no way you're going to give up Darren Waller for somebody.
Absolutely not.
No. So, I think I just built depth, and I think I did pretty good on that trade. I mean, we're going to have to see. Fantasy football, you don't want to be a stiff person. You don't want to just be like, no.
With that, explain to me why you want Aaron Jones so badly.
That was just a joke.
Before we move on to, are we not getting into the Aaron Jones thing?
No.
Okay.
Just stay on topic.
One thing I do
can
want to
you
say.
explain the Aaron Jones thing?
I don't even know what we're talking about. So no.
This man back to back offered me 3 trades that involved Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones is a good running back. He just got paid. He has high receiving upside in PPR, but.
I think I had a good.
I
think I won the trade. Obviously, I wouldn't have made it if I thought I lost.
Yeah.
But
I think it was pretty.
I think it's pretty even.
It was even.
But a person who wasn't involved in the trade, I think both of y'all won because you got someone, Caden, that you think can improve your team, and Easton, you got someone that you think you can use to eventually get someone even better on your team.
You get an extra player. I think I could spare a player.
But I'm not giving up T.J. Hawkinson. I'm riding with that person the entire season. If I give him up, that would have just been a waste. Like, I just gave up.
But what if you
Darren
trade
Waller.
him for someone that you think could potentially
If
do
somebody
better?
offers me George Kittle or Travis Kelce, then I'll
I
take
ain't giving
it.
up George Kittle.
Yeah, there's no
Well,
way.
my thing is, I had Devontae Adams, I have Justin Jefferson, I have CeeDee Lamb, and then once Michael Thomas gets back, I have him, and then I also had Terry McLaurin. I had a wide receiver to spare.
But how much confidence do you have in Michael Thomas with the quarterback situation?
Well, regardless of the situation, they're throwing the ball. They have to throw to somebody. They're going to throw their number one guy. In Michael Thomas, I think I might have to put some more thought into it, but I think I'd rank him the fourth best wide receiver in this league. The talent is there. The catches will be there. He's a PPR monster, and I feel very confident in him coming back.
Yeah,
and
I
being
still
an
think-
excellent wide receiver one.
Yeah, I
But I
think my
won't
team
need-
is still going to be pretty good. I got Kyler Murray, McCaffrey, Montgomery that I'm not too confident about, Hopkins, Keenan Allen, T.J. Hawkinson, Terry McLaurin, and then Patriots defense, Harrison Burke. But I still think my team will still produce a lot of points because Christian McCaffrey and Kyler Murray. That Kyler Murray D-Hop combo killed me in my fantasy league last year.
I think
Killed me.
I think we can go in more in depth in this in a future episode,
Yeah.
like all of our fantasy teams. But
Yeah.
So moving on away from NFL a little bit, but still staying on the football. How did y'all feel about the Georgia and Clemson game this past weekend?
It was definitely an interesting game to watch. I would have figured, even though Clemson did lose their star quarterback, I would have figured they would have performed better than what they did. Georgia does have that amazing defense,
Yeah.
but even still, Georgia,
It shows
They-
how
they-
much Clemson needed Trevor Lawrence.
that is true. But Georgia, they didn't even score a touchdown. Their touchdown they got from a pick six. So that makes you
True.
wonder if Georgia is only going to be a team
I don't
because
see
of the
them
defense.
I don't see them in the college football play. As the season goes, I mean, it was Clemson. It's a good game, but Georgia has potential to be in the top four, but I wouldn't be surprised if they don't. Yeah, it was a good game.
I completely agree with that.
It was a good
I think
defensive game. I like defensive games a lot more too.
Well, they're
so-
much more exciting.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
is
my
all
opinion.
exciting because you
That or it has to be a shootout.
yeah. But what Easton said about Georgia may not being in the playoffs this year, I could definitely see that because I do think their offense is going to give them the most trouble this season, and I think that's where it's going
Well,
to bite
both
them.
teams got to figure out everything new again. They gotta.
And
move.
and it's pretty tough when your first game when you're Georgia is against Clemson.
And vice versa.
Yeah, same with Clemson playing.
Who are two very strong defenses, in my opinion, still.
Yeah, they're really strong. It's gonna continue throughout the year though.
and then
Yeah, it was a good game.
one thing I'd like to say is I think this means more for Clemson than it does for Georgia, because Georgia's kind of always a fringe playoff team where Clemson's kind of always been a pencil in.
Yeah.
And this year, I don't think that's the case. It's going to be interesting because
It's going to take a couple games to figure out.
Georgia's
yeah.
an SEC team now, and then Clemson. Who else do they play? They can't really prove themselves anymore. They had this game to prove themselves as a playoff team,
And they just
and they missed their opportunity.
Yeah,
they
missed
don't really get many games like this being in their conference.
So yeah, but it was fun to watch. But it was just weird not seeing Trevor Lawrence out there, to be honest with you.
It's got to come with some type of whiplash because you move from Deshaun Watson to Trevor Lawrence. That's like getting Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Really, it is. And for them to not really have a
can't-
great quarterback performance, when was the last time they could say that?
I can't even pronounce DJ. I can't even pronounce their quarterback's name, and I'm sorry, but like, he did not do the best. He went went 19 for 37.
He had a big gap to fill.
Yeah,
And it's the
was
first
his
game.
First
Very
game against the
intimidating.
Georgia Bulldogs.
Heck,
Yeah.
even our quarterback here at Arkansas State had a piss poor first game because, and I'm going to honestly throw it up to nerves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was a funny meme that I saw the other day. It was that guy, the Clemson's quarterback, Ryan. I think it was playing with Debo Samuel, and he's like, "You're gonna be throwing touchdowns there," and then it cuts to the clip of him like throwing an interception. I was just like, and then the scoreboard at the end of the game. I was laughing so hard, but I mean, Clemson has a slim chance still of getting to the college playoffs, but
I think if they can clean up on offense, I don't think they have anything to prove on defense.
Yeah, for sure.
oh yeah,
Not granted, like I said.
Plus,
they're playing against the Georgia's offense, and I don't. Same thing with Georgia. I
I'm
think if both those teams clean up their offense,
We might be selling Georgia's offense a little short. I think they're
know.
better than we're saying right now.
Maybe.
But hey, there were 3 Georgia players that were named to the Senior Bowl Defensive Player of the Week for this past performance, and then one guy that I think is important to mention is Adam Anderson, who had a great week last week.
He did. I'm looking at Clemson's schedule, right? Clemson's schedule, and they do not play a ranked team. They got South Carolina State, Georgia Tech, North Carolina State, Boston College, Syracuse, Pittsburgh, Florida State, Louisville, UConn, Wake Forest, and South Carolina. Come on. Those games they're expected. I'm expecting them to win out.
Speaking of Florida State, how'd you like their performance against Notre Dame?
I think it was pretty good. That one quarterback that came in at the last end of the drive, what was his name? But Florida State definitely had a chance to win. They just blew the opportunities when they had them. But
I don't think they blew any opportunity. I think they played the game the best they could. Just Notre Dame.
They played the game good, but they had so many chances to just take the W. But Notre Dame just did not play good. They played good, but it wasn't their best game.
Definitely not the way I would have wanted to start.
Speaking of Notre Dame, a guy to watch out for becoming an NFL player real soon in the next draft, Kyle Hamilton, that safety who just has insane range, can play all across the field and ball hawk these balls that are in the air. That was exciting.
Milton, that was a guy.
Tyler Milton.
That came in at the end of the drive. Why did he? I didn't see, but why did he?
They threw him in because their starting quarterback, wasn't performing. They went to.
Oh yeah,
and so they threw him in. And if you ask me, I think he's gonna have the starting position now because they were down 10 points.
That man has had a ride. He's had knee problems.
No, it is really nice to see him come back and play as well as he did.
I think he proved himself too because he came in. They were down 10 points, and he came back and tied the game. I mean, granted, they didn't win in overtime, but I mean, it's still something to come back from 10 points from someone who hasn't played in over a year.
Yeah, Jordan Travis had 3 interceptions. That is bad.
So on board with people proving themselves, who do y'all have for the Heisman prediction this early?
That North Carolina quarterback just lost his Howell. He just lost his Heisman. Early, I think it's a little too early to call to say who's gonna win. But if I had a guess, that Alabama quarterback against
Bryce Young, that's who I was about to say.
Bryce Young.
Yeah,
he looked
Caden had this pulling up over here as well.
I was literally pulling him up. Yeah, that's my guy. I mean, I'm not as much of a college football guy as you guys are, but Bryce Young, and when I saw
he looked good.
He looked really good.
Especially.
I mean, he played Miami, but Miami's pretty good. They were ranked. Yeah, they're ranked. But he went off. It's weird.
Destroyed.
How does Alabama just get these quarterbacks? It doesn't make any sense.
Well, it's the roster top to bottom.
Yeah, they had Jalen Hurts, Tua, Mac Jones.
Now Bryce.
I think Bryce has the potential to be the best out of all of them.
Oh, for sure. He has so many.
If he keeps it up,
he can run the ball, throw it.
Hot take: Tua was not that great of a quarterback. He just had great people catching the ball.
I mean, what Alabama quarterback has?
But true, very true. Yeah. But you see him right now; he's not starting anywhere.
I think that's a dialogue that we will have.
I say if Alabama beats Texas A&M, he's got the Heisman. But and he performs well.
I think he has to perform well the entire season because I mean. Let's not forget, last year, who was in the league? Kyle Trask, and that fell apart. He became Kyle Trash.
Yes, true.
I mean, you can't just give it out immediately, and it's definitely going to be something that develops all throughout the year. And I think you guys will probably have better takes than I have as far as that goes. But it'll be interesting. But right now, I think Bryce Young is a guy that we're all looking
right
at.
now, I mean, I can't just say one person, but Bryce Young. Just with that week one performance, he has my top spot.
Yeah. Hard to pick anyone at Alabama just because they're always so good.
Yeah.
So for this coming weekend, What 2 games y'all think is going to be the most spectacular to look out for this weekend?
Oregon, Ohio State.
Oregon, Ohio State,
Pretty
and
good
then
one.
the
Because
Iowa.
Ohio State just fell apart, and then they just came back to life. And if they do that against Oregon, I think Oregon's going to give them a tough time.
That's going to be a good game, and I think Iowa and Iowa State.
Plus,
That's
whenever...
going to be probably the game this weekend.
Huh?
That's Iowa and Iowa State.
Oh, yeah. It's 9 and 10, right?
Pretty sure,
Yeah, 9 and 10. And then they had one linebacker get 14 tackles that game alone. Oregon last week, their linebacker had 14 tackles, and then 5 being solo, which that's insane. And if he does that against Ohio State, it's gonna be interesting. So you think Iowa State?
Iowa State's definitely going to be the game this weekend.
Yeah.
And with that, who do y'all think is going to win that game?
It's going to be a
Iowa-
last-second decision.
I don't know. I kind of like an Iowa over Iowa State.
So do we want to move away from college already?
Yeah,
Sure.
we're good.
Let's go
Okay. So next we got up going on right now is MLB.
Yeah.
And my notes say this is all Easton, so
Yeah,
this is you, bud.
this is all me. So NL, AL, MVP is a big topic right now. I think for the AL, Ohtani's got that locked down. What he's been doing in the Major League Baseball is insane. We haven't seen this since Babe Ruth. He's pitching well, and he's hitting pretty good. And I love to see him play, and I can't get enough. I like Ohtani. And then for NL, it's obvious. Fernando Tatis. He's got it on lock.
No, I don't think it's going to be him. It's going to be that other guy.
Oh yeah.
No.
No, it's Tatis all the way. And then so Ohtani, I want to say this. Ohtani, when I watched him play, and it's insane to see a guy pitch and then he comes back and hits really good. So it's fun to watch. We haven't seen this since Babe Ruth. None of us were alive to see that, so it's fun. It's
Even to
fun
see a guy get the opportunity is insane.
Yeah, the hit and pitch. I like Ohtani, and then Tatis is just on fire.
So from the little bit that I know, isn't it that most teams won't even allow their pitcher to bat?
Only in the NL will they let the pitcher hit.
Gotcha.
So yeah, and then World Series predictions. Man, the Padres are hanging on by a thread. If they don't get to the playoffs, all that they've done, they've got Yu Darvish as pitching, and then they got Tatis as well, and they got good players. So if they're gonna be held to high standards to win the World Series, but I don't see them winning it. But it's not a bandwagon, but I like the Dodgers just because they have so many weapons, and when they got Max Scherzer, that locked my pick for them. And also the Giants are red hot too. They're red hot. I could see them win the World Series too.
Okay. So this has been the first episode of the network. It's been a little bit longer than what we were expecting the first one to be. I think Easton was wanting to shoot for around 45 minutes, and we are closing on an hour and a half at the moment before edits. So, with that, thank you all very much for the few people who might be watching this first episode. And give us all the comments and suggestions and complaining y'all want to give us. We look forward to hearing it. It's going to be fuel for the next episodes at the least. And I think already for next week, we're thinking about having a little bit more of a discussion about Cam Newton. I think that's going to be good for NFL discussions next week. To see where he might potentially go. Has he been picked up yet?
He is not, but
He is not.
I still feel like there's a dialogue to be had, even with him being without a team right now.
Absolutely. So, hope everyone has a great night. Like I said, leave the comments for discussions and whatever. You'll have a good one.